from the Digital Production Center at Troy University, with news from across America and around the globe. This is Troy TrojanVision Global News.
This is Troy TrojanVision Global News, where we will give you a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world. I'm Sherry Kotzum, and here's what's making the news on August 26, 2014. A woman started her vacation off in fear after witnessing almost 20 people run from a beached boat in Mission Beach, California. It turns out they were Mexican immigrants. Natasha Sweet reports.
Crazy interesting for a vacation morning.
Sitting on this second-story balcony off the boardwalk in Mission Beach, Miranda Fuller saw this ponga boat coming to shore before beaching itself just north of Tower 15 around 6:45 a.m.
And it went from 4 heads to like 20 heads popped up, and they all started running up the beach, jumped the wall.
When the helicopter's flying around, something big has happened at Mission Beach.
Mission Beach resident Bill Wu saw the whole thing on his surveillance cameras.
I saw 21 people walking down my alley, including 2 female.
Eyewitnesses said they saw several people run from the boat to this alley where a van was waiting. Several people reportedly got inside the vehicle and sped off.
They changed down on Mission Boulevard to different clothing, so they definitely had help down on this side.
But not everyone got away. Here you can see at least 2 people were taken into custody. Fuller, an Arizona resident, is no stranger to border issues. However, she says the technique she witnessed Monday raises many other national security questions in her mind.
This seemed much easier. A quick little boat ride and beached it and ran, and they were off.
Judah Amati said he had mixed emotions when he saw the group make a dash for it once their boat made it ashore.
If they died, who's going to care about them? I hope they understand it's not worth it to risk the life.
A 17-year-old Army veteran is dead after shooting herself in the head. The incident caused a brief lockdown on post. Brent Solomon reports.
At the height of the chaos, no one could enter or leave Fort Lee for an hour.
We knew there was a threat, but we didn't know exactly what the motive was or the capability. We knew she had a weapon.
Commander Stephen Lyon says just before 9 this morning, the unidentified Sergeant First Class went on a rant, barricading herself in a 3rd-floor office. Negotiators tried to get the Iraqi war veteran to come out, but it didn't work. She shot herself in the head and was later pronounced dead at VCU Medical.
We're close enough that we can hear their public address system. The only audible things that I could hear was they were telling all personnel to seek immediate shelter.
The Petersburg National Battlefield Park borders Fort Lee. As soon as the post went on lockdown, so did the national park.
We had a guy that did the same thing in Vietnam.
The sequence of events eerily familiar for Army veteran Randy Newcomb. A fellow soldier took his life while in Vietnam.
We were, right there together, and he said he'd be back in a minute. We didn't know what he was going to do. We didn't have no idea, and that's what he did. He said he had to go get something, and next thing we know, we heard the shot.
In this case, the soldier was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries as operations on post returned to normal within an hour.
It hits home to you because it's so close, and you hear about it in other locations across the country, and you never expect it to be right where you are.
If you got any problems, go to somebody, talk to somebody. Don't do something drastic.
California Governor Jerry Brown has declared a state of emergency to help clean up after the strongest earthquake to hit the Bay Area in 25 years happened early Sunday morning. Polo Sandoval has the latest from Napa.
The damage is hard to miss along the streets of downtown Napa. Sunday's estimated 6.1 magnitude earthquake caused some buildings and storefronts to come crumbling down in the middle of the night.
We've had a couple people who've lost everything, whose homes completely burned down. So nothing left at all but a foundation.
It was scary. It was about the scariest thing I've ever been through.
Shockwaves radiated away from the quake's epicenter 6 miles southwest of California's wine country. The USGS estimates more than 8 million people felt some degree of shaking, and that there will likely be more than $1 billion in economic losses. The cleanup seems constant in Napa, where some wineries lost much of their supply.
Now you can see here where the barrels are broken open. I don't want to go down there. I want to stay out there because some of the barrels are still a little bit on the teetering side.
Meanwhile, others were left unaffected.
A winemaker right across the street from us, they were devastated. Dozens and dozens of their barrels collapsed. At my winery, just as for instance, no barrels collapsed.
In Napa, California, I'm Polo Sandoval reporting.
A slum in Liberia is quarantined due to the Ebola virus. We'll have that and more here on TrojanVision Global News.
With more news from across the nation and around the globe, TrojanVision will return in 2 minutes.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
Nice. No!
Oops.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone. But you're not alone. At iava.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. iava.org. We've got your back.
Keeping you up to date with news from around the globe, this is TrojanVision Global News.
Even as militants in Syria release an American citizen, the unrest in the region continues to be a concern for the U.S. government. Andrew Spencer reports President Barack Obama has authorized reconnaissance flights over Syria as officials consider expanding actions against ISIS militants.
The release of a captured American journalist came as a welcome surprise for his mother. She told ABC World News Tonight she asked intermediaries a proof-of-life question. What did her son write about in his doctoral dissertation?
And it came back, the Western Museum. And I thought, yes, that's right, and nobody would know that.
When Peter Theo Curtis disappeared in late 2012, he was working as a freelance journalist amid the unrest in Syria. The Obama administration stood strongly opposed to the regime of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, asking Congress last year to approve airstrikes against his forces.
We would have preferred Assad go 2 years ago, last year, 6 months ago, 2 months ago.
Now, Assad's regime says it is ready to accept support from the United States as ISIS fighters take control of a Syrian airbase. So far, President Barack Obama has only authorized reconnaissance flights over Syria, but U.S. officials are considering acting against ISIS targets in Syria, despite the regime's warnings against such strikes without permission.
There's no plans right now to have in-depth discussions with the Assad regime on what we may or may not do inside Syria.
Analysts warn attacking ISIS targets in Syria could have unintended consequences, potentially strengthening the position of Assad's regime. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Liberia is seeing the worst of the Ebola outbreak with 1,100 cases so far. Officials there say they are trying to contain the virus. They've decided to quarantine a slum in West African nation's capital, but the residents of the West Point slum are furious as they feel trapped. CNN's Nima El-Bajir has more.
On the drive into West Point, you're met with barbed wire and barricaded shops. And at the quarantine line, angry residents congregating to stare down police. Crossing through the line, you are immediately swarmed, people desperate to be heard. Desperate to believe this isn't happening. At a rough estimate, there are over 70,000 people living in Monrovia's West Point slum. No sanitation, no running water, and since the government designated it an Ebola quarantine zone last week, no way out. This was after rioters looted an Ebola center, claiming the virus was a government hoax. Were you here when the clinic was attacked? A nurse at the center told us she arrived for her shift that night to find the center destroyed and not a patient to be found. You can see this center, it's not extraordinarily well equipped. They're having to rewash their protective gear, a squirt of diluted bleach, and a door that was ransacked and left for broken during the riots. This is it. This is the only place people have. And even here, the most that they can hope to get is to be made comfortable while they wait to either overcome the virus or not. Charming is a hairdresser. Like many here in West Point, she has to travel out of the township to make a living. The only breadwinner for her 2 children.
My parents said, Mama said she ain't get nothing.
Right now, my mother doesn't have anything. I was the one that provided for her. But as time goes by, now she's complaining the rice is finished.
Are you more scared of Ebola or are you more scared of the hunger?
Both, because now also.
That's what's worrying us, the hunger, the Ebola, everything. I'm scared of everything.
Charming leaves us. She's going to see if her mother is right, if the food really has run out. As we walk back out onto the street, the crowd has grown larger. At the quarantine line, the standoff continues. Desperate to at least be seen and heard, if not released. Nemel Bar, CNN, Monrovia, Liberia.
The gruesome video showing the murder of journalist James Foley is a key part of the search for his killer. CNN's Nick Patton-Walsh talks to experts on what some of the details tell us.
As investigators carefully examine the video looking for who committed this atrocity, there are some disturbing clues, and on closer examination of both the long speech in English and the gruesome execution, some fresh puzzles. First, there is a clear edit in the video which fades to black between the English accented talker and the man who appears to carry out the beheading. And the man on the left, who has the English accent, appears of a different stature to the man on the right, who apparently carries out the killing. There is another problem with continuity. The knife wielded by the English speaker is different visibly from the knife left by the body of the deceased.
There's definitely a change of actor. The change in the physique of the individual standing next to the deceased. There are subtle, but there are also noticeable changes in their build, their physical appearance. The dimensions of the knife, the style of the knife that is used.
And when trying to determine whether the British accented man is also the executioner, it helps to examine where his pistol is holstered. That is for use by his right hand, but the executioner from the video appears left-handed. It's unclear why this happened.
The person who was essentially the mouthpiece may not have been willing to carry through with the deed, or may not have been able to.
This could present a problem for investigators, as the speaker's voice, and few doubt the voice heard is that of the man on the video, was one of their biggest clues.
The speaker is using a variety of English known as multicultural London English, and that's a kind of melting pot accent that's emerged in recent years, particularly in deprived multi-ethnic areas of inner London.
The video contains a wealth of other data, we are told, like the measurements of a face even beneath the balaclava. That could help investigators sift through databases of passport photos, but it is possible that the man whose voice and Britishness chilled many Westerners was not the one to carry out the killing. Nick, CNN, London.
A recent government survey shows just how costly it is to raise a child in the United States. More on that after the break.
With more news from across the nation and around the globe, Troy Trojan Vision will return in 2 minutes.
We are
America's swim team, united by goggle marks,
dry skin, and webbed feet.
Separated by seconds.
Bound by friendships.
We have superhuman powers, superhuman lungs,
superhuman strength. And we love
that after the chlorine wears off
and the water drains from our ears,
we are still America's swim team.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
We are America's swim team.
You know me as Summer Sanders, Olympic gold medalist and broadcaster, but to them, I'm just mom. When I put them in the pool, it was not for Olympic glory. It was for safety, first and foremost, for fun, for friends, and a healthy lifestyle. I always knew I'd get my kids involved in swimming. Get yours involved too. Visit swimtoday.org. Get them started now.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all working with United Way for a million little reasons. The kids of our communities. To ensure their academic success all the way to graduation day. You see, it takes about 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a kid becoming one or the other could be a professional athlete, or it could be you. Studies showed the earlier we get to kids, the better their chances. So become a United Way volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, and make a difference in the life of a child, for the life of that child.
Give. Advocate.
Volunteer. Live united. Join your favorite NFL players. Take the pledge. Go to unitedway.org.
Now, news for your life from Troy TrojanVision Global News.
It's no secret that staying physically active and eating healthy may help you live longer, but research shows that how long you live and the quality of those years is more nurture than nature. So what is the secret to healthy aging? Here's Holly Furfer with today's Health Minute.
Turning 70 didn't slow Molly Darden down.
Hey, Deb.
Instead, she went water skiing.
I decided that I'm going to sail through the 70s, facing challenges exuberantly.
One secret to Molly's healthy aging, her longevity attitude.
It's a mix of feeling that you are in control of your health, buffering stress, keeping positive human relationships, and keeping a very positive attitude.
Research shows 25% of aging is determined by genetics. Much of the rest is in our hands and often comes down to lifestyle and outlook. Recent studies show
people who have a positive image of aging will live 7.5 years longer.
Molly has always embraced life. She worked as a journalist and a photographer and lived overseas. Now she stays connected with others through her own website and on Twitter, and stays fit by gardening and walking her dog.
It's a passion to be happy. It's a passion to be vibrant, zestful. It's a passion to do good in the world, because I know now that I'm in my home stretch of life.
Molly's positive lifestyle not only adds years to her life, but life to her years.
We're taking a walk.
Oh.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Holly Furfer.
A Colorado mother says the vanilla milkshake her son got from a Thornton Dairy Queen was tainted by cleaning solution. She ended up taking her son to the hospital after he complained of a burning tongue. Molly Henderson spoke to the mom about what happened.
Lisa Chase is still pretty shaken up.
They could have cost people their lives with this.
After getting a whole lot more from this Dairy Queen than the vanilla shake she ordered for her son.
Something was like bubbling on my tongue.
Bubbling on your tongue? Was it burning? Yeah.
You couldn't even taste the ice cream in it. It was just like you were drinking a very strong cleanser, and then the burn just started instantly.
Come to find out, they were drinking cleanser, or at least partly. The vanilla syrup container also contained floor cleaner and degreaser concentrate similar to this, a strong cleaner containing sodium hydroxide that when ingested can cause burns, vomiting, even shock.
I just kept checking on him through the night, and like I said, my throat and stomach is still burning, and you just hope it's something that will just get better and go away.
And while her son is already feeling better following a trip to the hospital, Mom is worried others may not have been so lucky.
And now they admitted it's 2 since I was there when the other person called. Now it's up to 3 people. They need to be held accountable for what they're doing.
A recent government survey estimates the cost of raising a child from birth to age 18 at nearly $250,000. But first-time parents can cut some of the costs of bringing up baby with some simple tips. Karen Kafa has our Consumer Watch.
Raising a child born in 2013 will cost parents just over $245,000, according to a recent government tally, an increase of 2% over the previous year. Parenting and baby care website thebump.com recommends using the time before baby arrives to craft a new budget.
Figure out what extra money you have each month, what money you can have once you cut back on a few things, and really start to keep track and put that money aside if you can. So put it in a savings account, another account, and live off of your new budget for a few months before the baby arrives.
The Bump advises 3 B's to keep costs down. Buy in bulk from big box and warehouse stores. Borrow items from family and friends. Bargain hunt among secondhand outlets. Better for items like clothing, less for items like strollers and cribs that could be outdated in terms of safety requirements. And don't be shy about putting big ticket items on a registry.
You might think that somebody isn't going to spend, $500 on your baby shower, but a few friends might go in together. Your mother and your grandmother might go in together and get one of those items for you.
Childcare can make up the bulk of expenses. One trend the Bump has noticed, splitting the cost of a nanny or babysitter among family and friends with children of a similar age. For Consumer Watch, I'm Karen Kafa.
Extreme selfies and the best of the Emmys. Stay tuned for some of the lighter side of news next on TrojanVision Global News.
With more news from across the nation and around the globe, TrojanVision will return in 2 minutes.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
Mom, can I have $1? Yeah, it's right. I think my purse is upstairs on the bed. It's not here. Check the dining room. No. What about your sister's room? It's not there either. The upstairs closet? The downstairs closet. There are no more closets.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Do you like this top? It's so gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
And now more TrojanVision Global News.
Several people took photos of a naked man walking the streets of Topeka last week. They contacted a local TV news station to find out why he wasn't arrested. As Ariana Cohen reports, it turns out walking around naked in Kansas is not actually against the law.
Natasha Shamblin says she couldn't believe her eyes when she saw this man.
He was butt naked.
She and other viewers told 13 News they saw this naked man walking along Burlingame Road.
Yeah, the fact that like the kids could be outside playing or in their classrooms. He walked past the schools, past churches.
Shawnee County Sheriff Herman Jones told us, according to the state statute, it is legal to walk around naked.
Unless someone is exposing themselves or a sexual organ there to gratify or arouse someone other than themselves or so, it's really not anything against the law.
I'm confused. I'm like really baffled about it. I don't understand. How is this okay?
13 News called several state legislators, and only one was vaguely familiar with the state statute.
If they weren't aware, again, there's so many laws. We have like 12 volumes, 20 some volumes of code. The criminal code is 21 - whatever. I think it should be reviewed. But again, if it's a freedom of expression, now you're getting into the freedoms that we all share.
It's really, really disturbing. And then it makes me wonder how many people are going to catch wind of this and then think that it's okay to do that.
It's a thrill-seeker selfie that can induce mere vertigo in mere mortals. But what's the story with snacking on bananas more than 73 stories up in the sky? CNN's Jeannie Mose unpeels the mystery.
Sometimes your eyes speak louder than your mouth. How do you get up on top of that building? But all we hear is the wind. No explanation for how these three got on top of Hong Kong's 5th tallest building to take what's being described as the world's scariest selfie. That's photographer Daniel Lau holding the selfie stick that's holding the camera atop the 73-story building known as the Center. It'd make me dizzy.
Oh my God.
Wow.
The video ends when Daniel seems to get a text message.
Well, he probably got great reception up there.
But maybe, just maybe, there are more layers to this story than meet the eye. Who eats bananas 1,135 feet in the sky?
I would be throwing up bananas.
Yeah, well, they're up there. You might as well have a snack. I mean,
they want energy.
Energy?
Yeah.
Potassium.
Potassium, exactly.
This is a Guinness Book of World Records stunt. They want to be the highest person ever to eat a banana.
They act like they're King Kong.
Interesting, but that was no banana King Kong was clutching. Some theorize there's a more serious connection to primates, that this is an anti-racism message. This past spring, Spanish soccer fans threw bananas at Brazilian players they perceived as black. When it happened again during a Spanish league match, defender Dani Alves picked up the banana and took a bite. Turns out the players had already consulted with an ad agency, and thus was born the #WeAreAllMonkeys campaign, featuring players and regular folks tweeting photos of themselves eating bananas to make their anti-racism point. So was this a high-altitude snack or a message?
That feels like a long way up to go eat a banana.
Hope they didn't just drop the peels. Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
The 66th Annual Emmy Awards honor TV's Best of the Best Monday night. Martha Shade has the details on the big winners and a touching tribute on television's biggest night.
Let's give it up for TV, everyone. We're going to have a great night.
First-time host Seth Meyers started this year's Emmys off with a laugh.
Shows like Game of Thrones, The Good Wife, and Fargo have the right idea. When your show starts getting some attention and critical acclaim, kill off all the main characters. Otherwise, before you know it, you're paying Sheldon $1 million an episode.
But Jim Parsons had the last laugh. The Big Bang star took home the Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series trophy for the 4th time. The Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series trophy went to Julia Louis-Dreyfus for her work in Veep. Billy Crystal offered a poignant tribute to close friend Robin Williams.
It's very hard to talk about him in the past because he was so present in all of our lives. For almost 40 years, he was the brightest star in a comedy galaxy.
The Breaking Bad cast didn't tread lightly across the Emmy stage this year. Bryan Cranston took home his 4th Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series statue. Aaron Paul and Anna Gunn both won for Outstanding Supporting Actor and Actress in a Drama. And the series won Best Drama. Juliana Margulies of The Good Wife picked up the trophy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Martha Shade.
And that wraps things up for us here on Trojan Vision Global News. For a look at what's going on a little closer to home, stay tuned for Troy Trojan Vision Nightly News. I'm Sherry Kotzum. Thanks for joining us.
Stay tuned for more news after this on Troy Trojan Vision.